We all thought dual decks were dead, but did they just get resurrected? Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. I just bashed this up. It can kind of, does that give you my impression overall? This not a collector's item needing to be kept in mint condition there. It'll get cracked open for the King Cube at some point anyways, welcome to my video talking about the new Spellslinger deck set that is going to be coming up. It's an interesting little beast that is akin to these. Now these were failures, and that's why this line was discontinued. And these are two shining examples of how the most disappointing versions of these decks do. These ones, asahaha hawk. So the question is, what about this new stuff coming down the pike? Is it any good? Well, I'm gonna shrink myself into tiny little me and travel on up into the corner over here. Let's do it. Really gotta stop dropping those. Alright, so here we have the actual article from Wizards of the Coast talking about the new Spellslinger product. Here's a look at how it's set up. It's very similar. It's very similar to the dual decks, but it's not exactly the same packaging. I like the way that this packaging looks. It's very simple in terms of the starter set. The one thing that does kind of make me curious is, why the hell is Gideon on here? And secondly, why does Gideon have his Sorrel when he no longer has that? And he's like using the Black Blade. Who decided this? This artwork just confuses me. Why is this on here? So let's read how they've described this here. The Spellslinger Starter Kit will contain two 60-card decks, two Quick Start Learn to Play guides, a booklet featuring the world and rules of Magic, two cards to help players get started with each deck, and two spin down dice. And in those 60-card decks, well, more on that below. The Spellslinger Starter Kit will be available in local game stores and mass market stores. It'll have an MSRP of $15. Now I like this. This is actually cheaper than these guys. These dual decks, I believe the MSRP on these was 20 or 25. So already right there, there's a significant difference between them. And these turn out to not be as muddied in terms of what they're trying to do here, because these are meant for beginners, whereas these were meant for who? Who are these even meant for, honestly? So the decks will be ready to play out of the box, meaning they're not meant to be shuffled. Now guys, I had said in previous videos how I think that Wizards decks should come ready to play right out of the deck. They shouldn't be like, here are the 4 ofs, here are the 4 ofs, here are the 4 ofs, here's all the land, put it together yourself. Well, this takes it a step further, where not only is this deck ready to play, this deck is meant to be played step by step. So they've done this in the past. I've seen this in previous core sets. I don't know how long ago it was, probably around the time of 7th edition, I think, was around the last time they did something like this. Maybe 9th, probably around 7th. Either way, how it works is the players will take their deck straight out of the boxes without shuffling them up, play them directly, and the little booklets included will tell them step by step what to do. Now I imagine at a certain point it just gives them free reign to play the rest of the game. I doubt it guides them through the entirety of a first game, but it's possible. There are no cards in these decks at all that shuffle the decks through the course of play, so these decks will stay in the same order. Now I like this idea. This is a really easy way to guide people into the concept of Magic, not making it overwhelming. Now, because it comes out after Guilds of Ravnica, this will actually contain a few Guilds of Ravnica cards. There's 5 Guilds of Ravnica cards included in this set. Now, we don't have those on the deck list, but there is one supposition that we can make about at least one of those cards, and we'll get into that. Okay, so let's take a look at the deck list. Now, overall, the first deck list is a red-white build, and you can see I just slowly, I guess not really slowly, but I'll scroll through all this just to let you see the pictures of all the different cards that they've included here in the deck. It's a pretty straightforward deck, honestly. It's just got a bunch of little red and white guys. It's got some small dudes to start out with, and then some bigger dragons and dinosaurs to smash face with. There are 5 rares in the deck. You've got Shivan Dragon, you've got Demanding Dragon, you've got Burning Sun's Avatar, you've got Sarah's Guardian, and where's the 5th rare? I don't know. it's not here. So it's got to be in the 3 GRN cards. And if you're wondering where I got that information from, that was from looking at the second deck and determining that there are 5 rares available there. So we'll go down there and take a look through the deck first, and then I'll show you the rares. So the green, this is a green-black build. And here we go, just bloopity-bloop through the cards. Take a look at what's available. Blurp, blurp. A blurpity blurp. And then it's got 2 Ravnica cards. Okay, so in terms of rare, we have the Palaka Worm. We have, where's the next rare? Galta, Primal Hunger, which is a nice include. That's actually a valuable rare. Dun, dun, dun. Next rare is the Verdant Sun Avatar. So there's your 3rd rare. Your 4th rare is your Gravewalker. And your 5th rare is Prodigious Growth. Now, they're not going to have a lack of symmetry in these decks. They're not going to give one deck 4 rares and one deck 5 rares, which means that a bare minimum of one of the Ravnica cards from the wed white deck will have at least one more whale. So the red white deck will have at least one more rare, and it will come from Guilds of Ravnica. That might be a way to help push this to people outside of the beginner subset, just like Galta will as well. This will help keep a price ceiling on Galta as well. Galta can't become too expensive. Galta couldn't push above $15 for this box because of the box set. As long as the box set's available, it means that Galta could never be more than a $15 rare. So it does have that side effect, and Galta is an attractive card to be grabbing. Now, how do I feel about these decks versus the old dual decks? Well, these dual decks were based on concepts of, like, you've got Mind versus Might. It's just everything today, man. We got the heavy machinery out there. I can hear the sirens in the background. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but anyways, you got Mind versus Might, which is like wizards versus barbarians and stuff, and then you've got elves versus inventors, and this was really where they jumped the shark. This was the final end of it. And they did a goblins versus merfolk, and that one was okay. But the problem is these are not great for beginners. They don't understand what they're dealing with. There's a lot of random things in here. There's no concern about any kind of complexity with these, right? It's just a matter of put stuff in here that fits the theme and also that we think will entice people to buy it. But the reprints that they put in here were rarely ever interesting enough to get most people to invest in these things. And honestly, the only reason I have them is because they are they're good for like the King Cube, and I just had them sitting on the shelf because there's not that many cards of interest in them. So these dual decks here were meant for a similar purpose to this, but not focused towards beginners. By shifting the focus towards beginners, they've created a much more useful product. Magic can be a very daunting game to get into. I have people contacting me, asking me, where's the best place to start? This allows, like, you can walk into a Walmart even. Like, a local gaming store is ideal because you can go in there and meet people and play, but this will bring more people into the game because you can just go over to a Walmart, pick this up. Now there's somebody running a saw out there. Oh God, it never ends. Okay. It's too funny. All right, so yeah, these decks are great for beginners. You can walk into Walmart, pick it up. 2 people can be good to go and start out understanding, oh, okay, this is basically how it goes with Magic. In terms of the content, you're getting the same 2 60-card decks. You're not getting the same amount of value rares, but you also are getting 2 spin-down dice as well to keep track of life. I personally really like these. I mean, they come close to the same price as a Planeswalker deck, but with a Planeswalker deck, you get the deck and a booster pack. And with this, you're ending up with, you get 2 decks that can be played against each other. So even if a kid wanted to play against his parents or something, there's a lot of versatility to this. Plus, it all is standard legal. So somebody can just grab this, and they can even, if they like it, they can take both the decks and build out of it. I think this is a really, really good move. I think Wizards has finally started to look at the right angles for helping out beginners. Bringing back the core sets was a really smart move. Ditching dual decks, which nobody cared about, and rebranding them as this cheaper Spellslinger Starter Kit. I like it, honestly. I really like it. I think the idea as a starter kit is fantastic, and the name Spellslinger is great. Legitimately, the only complaint I have about the product at all is that I do not understand why Gideon's on there with weaponry that makes no sense. He's not in the decks. It's okay, whatever. Anyways, these Spellslinger Starter Kits, they get a thumbs up from me. These are a product worth purchasing if you are a beginner. If you're new to the game or whatever, grab one up. Otherwise, if you just want to have some fun playing with some basic decks or just want to snag a couple of cards that are available in the decks, totally seems like a reasonable buy. So that's all I have to say on the matter, and I will see you guys later, most likely again today, because I've got to go and record the 9,000 subscriber special story. We are going to talk about the ancient fable from my magical history. We're going to talk about an old story of the elf and the fireball. So, thanks for coming by. Look at my lovely new sign. Do what it says for the loves. And I'll see you guys later.
And together, we are the sixth color of magic. Woohoo!
And I'm history, baby.